Happy New Year! I want to use this video to talk about our plans for this channel for 2026 and to talk about just planning in general and what my process is for that. So whenever we started this channel, the whole idea was going to be this would be like informational content, things that I get asked about a lot, but sometimes I can't always answer every single question, but a lot of times the answers are the same. And so things like LLC versus S Corp, what to track for tax purposes, how to handle cash flow, how do you implement profit first in an author business. And I did that for a while, but I also had some videos that were kind of like this one, just more casual, off the cuff, kind of got behind the scenes, rambling videos. And I got good feedback about both of those. And so I wasn't sure what direction to take the channel in 2026. And so then I thought, well, why not both? So in 2025, whenever we started the channel, I think back in August, we were pretty consistent, posting once per week for 2 or 3 months. 2026, I'm going to shoot for twice per week. Couple of reasons for this. One, I want to get as many really bad videos under my belt as possible. Everybody says like the first 100 videos that you do on YouTube are terrible. After you get past those first 100 videos, you just have a lot more experience, and then the rest of the videos end up doing a lot better. And I realized that if I'm doing one video per week, it's going to take me like 2 years to get 100 videos. I want to speed that process up. So I'm going to do 2 videos per week. One of them is going to be like this, just more conversational, whatever my thoughts are that day. And the other video is going to be more informational, more scripted, more educational, and kind of like the original reason for doing the channel. I'm going to try to separate the two, maybe into playlists, where this is going to be more like a personal vlog, personal updates, maybe behind the scenes. I don't know how to title that. And the other one will just be like topical. So what topics are we going to cover? We're going to cover basically 3 main areas with the informational, educational stuff. It'll be tax, it'll be bookkeeping and accounting, kind of like the operational side of running an author business. And then the other part will be more cash flow business management side, really heavily on the profit first system. And all of it will be through the lens of independent authors or running a business as an independent author. One of my main headaches with doing the YouTube channel is planning the content. I never know what to do, and it feels really, really disjointed. Like one week will be LLC versus S Corp, and then the next week we'll talk about bookkeeping, and the next week it's profit first, and the next week it's taxes again. Then it might be taxes again the week after that. And just like, it just seems random because it honestly is just random. It's whatever idea seems to be a good idea at the time. And I want to be more, I guess, intentional about how I plan that content out. And so I've been doing a whole lot of ChatGPT conversations and a whole lot of research on how do YouTube content creators plan out their content for the year. Like, I get the idea of having these content pillars and the different topics we're going to talk about, but like, how do you choose what's next? I'm thinking for January, it'll be a whole lot of beginning of the year stuff, cleaning up your 2025 bookkeeping, closing out 2025, what to do to prepare for tax returns for 2025, since that's going to be coming up, doing your whole year-end profit first allocations and changing your percentages, just all that stuff that you might need to do at the end of the year. January 2026 be a good time to do that. After that, going into February, March, and April is probably going to be pretty heavy on the tax side of things. Like, we're going to be in tax season, so it's relevant. We're talking about preparing for taxes, but then also for strategizing for the next year's taxes. We talk about estimates and extensions. We're going to talk about how to gather your tax docs. We're going to talk about some of the new changes because of the tax law that got passed in 2025. So that'll be really heavy from March to April. And then I have no idea. I really don't know what's next. And again, like, I don't know the right way to plan out the content, to have those content arcs, something that makes sense. So I don't know. Help me out with that if you have any ideas, or if you want have a direction that you want this to go, or if there's another YouTube channel that you follow that you really, really like what they do and you like the way that they do things, it's really helpful for you. Like, shout them out in the comments, tag them or whatever. I'm trying to follow other YouTube channels that are helpful for authors, so I get an idea of the information that you're getting from other places. So planning in general, I have a love-hate relationship with planning. I really like the idea of planning. I like the idea of having things planned out and scheduled. But I mentioned in another video this book called Productivity for How You're Wired. It was a game changer for me. It goes into like your personality type and deciding based on your personality type, what type of productivity system and like goal setting is going to work best for you. And she breaks it out between low, medium, and high structure. And what I learned is that I need somewhere between a medium and medium high structure system for me to be able to operate well. If there's too much structure in a system, I feel too boxed in and I feel like it has to be perfect and then I just don't use it. And if I don't have enough structure, then I don't feel like I'm capturing everything and things fall through the cracks. So I need something like somewhere in the middle. And that's such a freeing idea for me because in the past, I've done different goal setting systems. Like Michael Hyatt has one. There's a few others that I've tried and they're fine. Like they work well. And for the people who love that kind of thing, it works really, really well. But for me, like going through and planning out an entire year in the 9 different domains of my life and all the different projects that are going to fall under those goals and how to move forward, I'll spend the time doing it. And then 2 months later or 3 months later, the whole thing's irrelevant and I feel like I failed. So for me, the thing that actually works a lot better is setting a direction and then just knowing that I have maybe 2 or 3 projects or 2 or 3 things that need to be done towards that direction to like help me move forward in that. I hate saying the word direction again, but move forward that way. And then trusting that the next step is going to become apparent later. So here's what I'm doing for my 2026 planning. The first thing I'm going to do for 2026 planning is actually review 2025. So for 2025, I used these paper planners and it's called the Rote Runner Purpose Planner. Really good, probably more structured than I need it to be. But it has, what I really liked was these weekly pages where it's just basically like a calendar view. And so I go in and I kind of jot down all my events that week. And at the bottom, there was a section just for notes, like wins, reminders, ideas, memories, whatever. And I used that to just jot down things I wanted to remember from that week. And what I did was I did a pretty good job of this. At the end of each week, I did like a weekly reflection. Sometimes were a lot longer than others. Sometimes I didn't have anything. Sometimes it was just a sentence. There was one week in here that I saw that was like almost 2 pages of handwritten notes on what happened that week. And it was like really, really eye-opening to see what was going on. So something I have planned for this week is to go through literally every page of my 2025 notes and just see what was happening, basically relive it. And as I'm doing that, I'm going to take notes somewhere else on just like the highlights. And I want to go through and just make sure that I don't lose focus on what happened during the year, the good stuff, the bad stuff, the things that I learned, because I'm really, really good at just flowing past something and not stopping to realize how far we've come with things. I was talking to my counselor about this and saying how it feels like accomplishing something feels like if you would run a 5K and not realize you crossed the finish line. Like I ran a 5K once in my life, never going to do it again. And when you finish the 5K, there's, all the people are there, there's cheering, there's music, whatever. People are handing you like water bottles and stuff. And like, that you finished the race and you get like that last surge of sprint energy and you go through it and then you can stop and you can breathe and you can be like excited about what you just did. But I feel like outside of an actual race, like with business, it's as if you were to run the 5K and then look backwards and realize, oh, the finish line was back there. I never realized that nothing changed. I'm over here now. And whenever I gave that metaphor to my counselor, he was like, yeah, but look at the difference. In the 5K, when you knew that the finish line was there, he stopped. But whenever you didn't know that the finish line was there, you kept going, which is actually a good thing. And he said that there's this science and there's these studies that show that if you constantly know where the finish line is and you're constantly moving towards that and celebrate it when it happens, it kind of like wires your brain for constantly needing more and more of these dopamine dumps from accomplishing something. Like you need to have this big thing happen, and that's actually not a great way to be. But not ever acknowledging your wins is also not a great way to be. So like the solution is to have a system for looking backwards, seeing where we've come and acknowledging the wins that we made along the way, even if we didn't necessarily stop and take the time to celebrate those as they happen. So that's going to be the purpose of my 2025 review, is just to go back and realize all the challenges that we faced and what we overcame in 2025, both personally and in the business. The next thing that we're going to do that I'm going to do for 2026 planning. So every year we have this word of the year. And it's actually Jessica that is the one who kind of defines our word of the year. The first year she did this, I thought it was hokey. I didn't, whatever, it was fine. And I can't remember what her first word of the year was for us, but it was really her word of the year. And I realized that it kind of impacted all of us. It impacted the whole family. It's like she had kind of set the tone and we all kind of fell into that. And I like that. So a few years ago, I think it was 2020, her word of the year was slow. And then that was the year that everything got shut down because of COVID. So then it was like, okay, well, let's, if you're going to be prophetic like that, maybe let's make the word of the year like money or wealth or something. I'm just kidding. This last year, our word of the year was thrive, I believe. See how bad I am at this? But the word of the year that she came up with for 2026 was steward. And I really like that. It's going to be about like just being a good steward of all the resources that we have, whether it's money or time or attention or like our bodies and our health, and just making sure that we're being good stewards of those things and treating them responsibly and having intention there. So that might mean putting boundaries on how much we work, or that might also mean setting up focus hours to make sure that when we are working, it's getting our full attention. And I think there's just such a good thing to do for 2026, just to stay focused on the things that matter at the time. Now, right now, I'm coming up with all of our tax proposals for 2026 and getting ready to send those out. For me, looking at that and looking at the business, and I'm trying to figure out a way to make this more, I guess, to make this fit into steward. If I had to pick my own word of the year that was separate from Jessica's, it might actually be simplicity or simple. I want to just make things more simple. Over the last few years, we've just added more and more things to the business, and we're adding things to solve problems. And then those are actually like causing more problems. And then we're having to solve those, and it becomes this Frankenstein. So I want to kind of roll things back, become more simple in how we do things. And every decision we make, I want to really think about like, is this making things more simple for us, more simple for our clients, more simple for our team? And if it is, then I'm going to have some assurance that maybe it's the right way to go. So I don't know. Is there a way that you can think of to tie simplicity into stewardship? I don't know if there is. My goal for 2026 with doing all this is, I think if I can get more time, then I can have more clarity, and then I could do a better job of actually goal setting. Because I have all these ideas of things that I want to do, but everything that I want to do is going to take a fair amount of time to implement and to be able to sit down and plan them out. And I don't feel like I have that time. The last several weeks of 2026, or the last couple of months really of 2025, I'm already a year ahead. So the last several months of 2025 felt like every single week, I only had these few pockets of time that I could actually like do work and focus on things. And everything else was taken by other appointments. So I want to figure out ways to gain back that time in a way that doesn't hurt what we're doing for our clients. So one of the big things we're doing in 2026 is we're expanding our team, which I'm super excited about. We're expanding the team so that we can serve more clients, but more importantly, not just serve more clients, but serve our current clients better in a way that's more consistent, take some things off of my plate so that I can then be adding even more value where it matters and be coming up with like the direction for the business. That's the plan in a nutshell. I was kind of just rambling to fill in time because these videos seem to do better if they're more than like 5 or 10 minutes, about the 10-minute mark. And I think maybe I rambled a little bit too much. So I'll be editing some of that out. Let me know though, again, like if you have any ideas for how to plan content out on a YouTube channel, if there's other channels that you see that you like, and also if you have a certain system for planning out your year or to do goal setting that you just live and die by, let me know what that looks like. Because I'm always looking for more ways to just be more consistent and more intentional. I really, really hope that you had a great 2025. I forgot to mention at the beginning of this video that I virtually took December off. Like we did a family vacation, then it was Christmas and everything else. Our whole family had the flu. So we just decided, you know what? I'm not even just going to worry about doing any YouTube videos or any content at all. So I just kind of ghosted everyone for a month, but I'm back, getting back into things, and I'm excited to jump into 2026 and see where this takes us.